FM. 101.1 FM.
Good afternoon, good afternoon. Welcome to this Unplugged with me, Miguel Fevrier, on the Caribbean International, the Caribbean Sound. Youth Unplugged is brought to you by the Youth Economy Agency.
But imagine, sometimes I'm feeling like there's only 2 days in the week. Yesterday was Monday, and look at that Friday afternoon. So hear that. Do you have a talent or skill that you can turn into a business idea? Well, don't sleep on you, my youth. Get your business started today. The Youth Economy Agency will guide you. Provide funding. Yes, sister, provide funding. Plus training to run your business profitably. Yo, go online now to start living the St. Lucian dream. Just one click and boom, you're in business.
Good afternoon once again, and as always, it's a pleasure to be here on Youth Unplugged to highlight, of course, the achievements of our young people within St. Lucia society who are making strides both locally, regionally, and internationally. And before I introduce my guest, I'd like to just say hello to our sponsors, the folks at the Youth Economy Agency, yeah, bus operators, especially those transporting our young people at this time who've just been released from school, and of course, parents who are either on their way to or have picked up their kids from school. I hope this show serves as an inspiration to many of you aspiring to any field of endeavor. Now, before I introduce my guest, let me just finish you with a random fact. According to available research, the average age of the world's inventors is around 45 years old. This data often comes from studies analyzing patent filings, showing that most significant inventions are developed when inventors are in their mid-career. Now, some key points to note about inventor age are that the peak innovation in mid-career, as studies suggest that most innovative period for inventors tends to be between the late 30s and early 50s. And while it may not fall in the category of inventors per se, did you know that the creator of our very own Peter Bear of international acclaim was only about 28, 29 years old when the bear was launched? Now, obviously, the creation and brewing process would have occurred before that. So that is just a quick note for you, those of you who are aspiring to anything, to know that invention can start from the day you were born. My guest, I would like to introduce my guest, who's a young lady, and I'd like to also thank her for coming in on a little late notice because our guests, well, I had a guest and alternate set for this afternoon, and one was called an emergency meeting, and the other one had another activity to attend. So, without further ado, uh, I'd like to introduce my guest, who is Mrs. I believe I see the ring. Yes, it's Mrs. Mrs. Sarah Joseph, and I'll let you know now before you even see her up there, you see those dimples, those deep dimples, and she has this big smile from the moment I met her. She's had this big smile on her face. So Mrs. Sarah Joseph, she is the proprietor, the owner of Sarah Chronicles, and that would be SARAH, but that is more an acronym form. There is a dot after every letter. So it's S dot A dot R dot A dot H Chronicles. And her job title, sorry, is a neuro life coach. And those of you who want to get in touch with Sarah, Instagram handle is Sarah Chronicles at Sarah Chronicles, but she'll give us more information about that. Now, about Sarah, based on her bio, she's a certified life coach and she is a CBT practitioner. Now, I had to do a little research. I think it's cognitive behavioral therapist practitioner, an NLP master practitioner. Could you explain on NLP?
Is neuro-linguistic programming.
Neuro-linguistic programming. Now, you'll have to tell us more about those. An emotional intelligence practitioner. You are the former corporate regional manager in collections and recoveries and human resources specialist for over a decade. You started this path in 2019 with what started as a hobby, became a career. You're a specialist in mindset mastery, overthinking, procrastination. I need to speak to you. Mental clarity. I need to speak to you again. personal growth and development, and her expertise blends neuroscience, psychotherapy, emotional intelligence, and life coaching. Now, before we get into that whole professional bit, Sarah,
Yes.
just tell us about yourself. And let's make sure I'm hearing you on
Yes.
our mic. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Yes.
think we can. I think we can. I think we can. Tell us about yourself. Where you from? How old? Sorry, how young you are. We had a discussion earlier.
Yes.
How young
Yes.
you
I
are.
am 32 years young.
Mhm.
32 years young. And I am from the Castries Basin.
Which part? Prince
Um,
Alfred's Basin next to the bridge, or what part of the basin?
um, I believe that's Castries. Yes.
Okay. All
Yes.
right. Okay. Um, schools you went.
I went to After Louis. I went to Compre because all the Compre people, we have
Mm,
our roll call coming up.
mm, mm,
I have always been, I should say, I always felt like I always wanted to help somebody. It took me a while to get to where I am now, figuring out that because my idea of professions changed.
mm,
I wanted to be a doctor. Then I decided that's too long many years of school. So I said I wanted to be a nurse. And then I said, you know what, maybe I should go into counseling or therapy because I always used to be an advisor for others. Some people pull to that. Some people got annoyed that when I hear something, my first is always going to a solution. I always try to get the solution. So I don't do the spiraling and the bickering. I hear the issue and automatically I try to figure out, okay, so what is the best way forward now
mm,
to help you or whatever is in the situation? So I also, from that, I wanted to be a chef. I started to do like little catering gigs on the side. So I always knew I wanted to help people. I just didn't decide yet on what capacity or what profession I wanted to do it yet.
I like that you've ventured in different different areas that may not very well be connected.
They're not.
They're not connected, but helping people, no matter through what area, your goal is to help
That
people.
was always the aim.
Right. So, in terms of your professional experience, upon leaving school, what where did you get into it? So of course, you said over 10 years in human
Yes,
resources,
and collections and
and collection and
recoveries.
recovery.
Yeah.
So tell us about where was that? Where did you work?
Well, I first started at KM2. I was a collections specialist there. I did sales, I did customer service. I kept climbing. I ended up in HR. I was also a recruiter there as well. And then from there, I went into the micro lending companies. So then I was at Advanced Caribbean. I
Hmm.
was the recoveries manager there. And from there, I went to Fast Cash, where I was the regional collection supervisor there. And I always, as much as I like to help others, I also like the business. So I got my bachelor's and stuff in business management as
Hmm.
well. So collections is not really on the helping side. We tend to be labeled as the
Mm,
bad guys.
you are.
Yeah, we're not. Don't any of my past customers who interacted with me will defend me on that. They will say I was not terrible.
Mm,
I was, I was not the bad guy, even if my post was to be that way. Um, and even through that, I would help and assist and go the extra mile for some customers simply because I understand people's situation and I try to always, as normal, find a solution. So even in my profession where I'm supposed to be trying to get you to pay the funds,
mm,
I've had customers who the internet got disconnected and whatnot had no access to any of the social pages. I on my own would go and search on the social pages, ask them what they're interested in, text them the vacancies, call them to give them the vacancies. If they come in, write it on paper for them so that they can go ahead and send the application, get a job, get some stability in their life, go ahead and start paying. I think because of that, they were more motivated to pay the loan
mm.
because it was more than just paying the loan for me. I realized, okay, there's something else going on with you, so I went the extra mile to help you.
That's wonderful. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. Our customer service is always one of the bases on which you can relate to people where you have an understanding. There's an empathetic side to it. I guess that
Yes,
helps in your profession.
yes, yes,
Now,
yes.
your path to being where you are, because I mean, we have certified life coach, CBT practitioner, NLP master practitioner, emotional intelligence practitioner. What course of study or area of study did you pursue that brought you to this stage now?
Well, I had a personal matter that I like they say that affected me mentally, emotionally,
Hmm.
physically, all the leaves. And that was in 2019. And in that moment, on my own, I went to get therapy because I'm a
Okay.
big mental wellness advocate. And I got therapy. I felt somewhat better. I still felt like I still did not know my next step. So though
Hmm.
I was healed, I still felt stuck. And then I ended up coming across someone who was a mentor. I got a mentor and I realized that's different from therapy. So I was like, okay, I wanted to get into that. But then I happened to get onto YouTube and I came across Tony Robbins' video.
Hmm.
And that is where it sparked because this man is an amazing man. So I got into his stuff and I realized that he was a life coach. I'm like, life coach? So I went to do my research and then I went down the whole research spiral thing. I attended seminars he had, webinars he had. I got coaching from some of his coaches. I literally devoted my time into that because I realized, okay, this is very impactful and I like that. I felt comfortable in it where I could relate to others. So I was like, I want to get into that. So I basically dived into something that is not very common in St. Lucia. Yeah, not the term,
Not the two of you.
not the,
Not only is it not common, but I mean even for someone like me, maybe a few years ago, I'd read the term life coach and I'll be a bit skeptical because it sounds like, okay, I don't want to use the term scam. I don't want to use
right,
the term scam, but people are skeptical because they always think that someone's just feeding you um, general information, paint things with a broad brush and think it's applicable to every single person.
right.
So that said, though, that said, let's just get into what you do now and tell us about what you do so we can ask you more
All
questions.
right. So I am a neuro life coach. Neuro, in the essence, I focus on the mindset because what I realized is a lot of us were overwhelmed, we feel stuck, we procrastinate, we overthink, we have struggle with self doubt,
Hmm.
self limiting beliefs. And I got into life coaching because when you have a life coach, that's basically like your advisor on the side to help you stay motivated, build habits, give you guidance to achieve and help you to be the best that you can be.
Hmm.
That a life coach is actually also the secret weapon for a lot of successful people. Some will not admit to it, but some will publicly admit to it. So if you search now and see celebrities or famous or established people who had a life coach, you'd be surprised of a lot of the names that come up that said a lot of the success came from the assistance of the life coach. Because sometimes when you're too close to it, you don't see. So it's someone on the outside that's able to give you some guidance and give you out a path. So that's what we do. But I had a client, and even if we did that, she still felt a bit overwhelmed. She wasn't feeling as content. We got some goals and stuff established, but there was a disconnect. And at that time, I didn't understand. And it's through conversation, and I on my own said, okay, you know what, we're going to find a solution because this is my thing. Solutions always. So then I realized that she had some self-limiting beliefs that were conditioned from like childhood, some core beliefs that were holding her back.
Hmm.
Because even if she achieved those stuff, she was told from a younger time, like, she doesn't deserve happiness and her happiness is only reliable onto if others are happy. So she didn't
Mm.
feel like she was worthy even if she achieved it. And I'm like, you are achieving the things off your list. The disconnect is coming from the mindset. So in that, that's when I did research and find out what are the tools and techniques that I could use to help, in addition to life coaching, to give somebody that transformation that they need. And that's how I came with cognitive behavioral therapy because that helps you deal with troubling emotions and thoughts. And then NLP, neuro linguistic programming, it helps you rewire your mindset. So you could go right back to the root of where the self-limiting belief, that anchor that's holding you, and we can literally uproot that and replace it with something new. And of course, emotional intelligence helps you as well to channel and process your emotions, make you more self-aware, self-management, as well as help you to interact with others in the world. So it was that challenge with that client that
Mhm.
helped me get into that field. And then I realized that everything actually starts in your mind. Your mind is your greatest asset. And once you're able to master your mindset, everything else will fall into place.
Okay. I would understand that in this field there would be a certain level of secrecy, confidentiality. Of
Yes,
course, having to
yes,
deal with people.
definitely.
But I mean, if you can speak on a general level, to some successes or types of successes that you may have had, whether it be through either a relationship, work issues that they may have had, it's need some sort of coaching just to try to
Right.
get.
Well, this client, she's actually now doing her master's in um, business management. So that's something that she's been putting off for a while. She is also in her late 30s.
Mhm.
So even then, we kept her going because she felt like she was too old. That's not that's not her time. She felt like everybody was ahead of her. She was behind. So it really had to do with some of the stuff that were already conditioned. So we had to separate her from that. I've had clients who struggled with self-confidence where how they dressed and how they appeared before they met me and afterwards is a complete 360. They're more confident, they're more ambitious, they're taking more cautious risks. Um, and I think these are some they are those that the biggest success for them is being able to sleep at night. So it might not be a big deal for a lot, but for them it was because they had a lot of sleepless nights, overthinking, insomnia, worried, anxiety, depression, simply because of everything that they feel like they're stuck and they're not understanding why they're stuck and they're going through that cycle and they cannot be through. And then finally breaking through allows for you to get 8 hours of sleep. That was a win. A win is a win.
Ways of
A
it.
win is a win. So these are some I have different ranges of what success looks like. And that's something that I also preach that success looks different to everybody. So for this person now is being able to sleep. For another person is able to pursue their academic goals. Another person was for them to be able to actually switch up their wardrobe and start feeling
Mhm.
confident out in the open. So
How about making $1 million this year? You think you can help me with that?
we can do that.
Uh,
Once we can do
you heard
that,
that,
we can do
folks?
that. Just get your mindset right. I give you the tools. It's you that have you have the abilities. I just have to help you tap into your power. That's it.
So, uh, the confidence of getting over the apprehension, sorry, at such a young age of starting your own business, especially one of this importance, because you look at, in essence, people's mental health, your clients, of course, those who come to you and those
Hmm.
who, of course, you solicit, will depend on you and your business for the most part, their mental health, their mental
Right.
stability at that time. Challenges? Do you face any challenges, and were there any barriers to getting to where you are now, starting your own business, especially in an important field like this?
The challenges I would say is I dived into something that is basically uncommon in the
Mhm,
Caribbean, let alone St. Lucia.
mhm,
And mental health is somewhat taboo. And so that was a challenge in terms of trying to start something new. I started something new nobody knows about, and then trying to market it to you to convince you that what I do
mm,
works.
mhm, mhm. So you gotta play different roles.
So that was and also marketing is something that was not like they say it's something that I'm accustomed to. So I had to
Mm,
learn how to market and present myself. So the challenge basically is bringing awareness to what I do and convincing you, like you say, that it's not the traditional. You just speak and then you feel like nothing is resolved. I give you tools and resources because my whole aim is for you to be the best that you can be. So I will give you everything, every resource available to me. I would give it to you so that you can go ahead and move forward.
okay. I remind you folks once again that Youth Unplugged here every Thursday on Radio Caribbean International is brought to you by the Youth Economy Agency. We will be right back after this short break.
But imagine sometimes feeling like there's only 2 days in the week. Yesterday was Monday, and look at them Friday afternoon. So hear that. Do you have a talent or skill that you can turn into a business idea? Well, don't sleep on you, my youth. Get your business started today. The Youth Economy Agency will guide you. Provide funding. Yes, sister, provide funding. Plus training to run your business profitably. Yo, go online now to start living the St. Lucian dream. Just one click and boom, you're in business.
Thank you very much, and welcome back to Youth Unplugged with me, Miguel Fevrier, and my guest, Sarah Joseph. Uh, we're just having a quick discussion of AI, and it is actually about the perception of what she does by the medical professionals. I'm talking about the medical practitioners, the psychologists, and the psychiatrists. Sarah, you were saying to me that you really haven't faced any resistance or
No,
any
I
stigma,
haven't.
but
I
you could
haven't.
just speak more about do you have any, do you work, with psychologists, psychiatrists? Do you have to refer to them for anything?
Um, because of what I do, I actually do want to collab or partner with a psychologist. Um, I haven't come across anyone yet, but I am open to it because I deal with the non-clinical part of the mindset. So if you have a mental diagnosis, so if you're maybe bipolar or you're schizophrenic, and I will not be able to actually solicit any medication or anything like
Mhm,
that.
mhm,
So I would definitely need a psychologist to be able to, or a medical practitioner to do this side, the clinical side of it, and I can do the non-clinical side of it
okay.
as well.
Well, can you tell us where you're located?
I do everything online, which is the best part
Oh,
because I say that's the best part because that's what my clients see. I'm quoting their words.
okay.
Because a lot of my clients are busy professionals. So to try to find the time to come to an office or just to fit in, that was the first resistance I would get is I don't have the time, my schedule doesn't allow,
Mhm,
I'm not able to get the time off to physically appear. But then I'm like, no, you don't need to. We do everything online. And then it's a different reaction where they just find a comfortable spot. Some people have the call in the car. They take the lunch hour and they're seated in the car, and then we have the video call via Google Meet or WhatsApp video, and then we have our sessions there. I send you all the resources and stuff via email, your templates. So everything is online based.
okay. Folks, reminding you that if you have any questions for our guests, you can WhatsApp us at 724-0008, or you could send your questions on our live stream on Facebook platform on the official page of Radio Caribbean International. I'm here with Sarah Joseph, like I said, a life coach, a certified life coach, a CBT practitioner, an NLP master practitioner, an emotional intelligence practitioner. So Sarah, I take based on what you said, you're the only person involved in your business right now.
Yes.
So could you speak to you did mention, of course, wanting to work with a psychologist or a practitioner
Yeah.
in the medical or the
Yes.
medical field. In terms of the scope of your business, where do you see yourself for the next 5 years, in terms of the size of your business and the reach of your business? And to add to that, do you have any clients outside of St. Lucia as we speak?
Um, yes, I have had some clients regionally, um, but I haven't had any clients yet internationally.
Okay.
But because it's online, I'm open to everybody, which is awesome.
Mhm.
In the next 5 years, I see for sure Sarah Chronicles will be thriving. This I know. And I am hoping within that time I have done a lot of because I've had some of my clients, friends, family, and followers suggest for me to do some seminars and workshops and events. So that's next on the horizon is to do an event live
Mm,
and get persons to come to learn how to master the mindset.
mm. Are there days where you feel compelled to have to try to master your own mindset, where work is concerned? Are there days where you feel defeated, you can't go on with it? And how do you cope with those days? How do you get out of that funk?
I think the biggest thing for me is the marketing side of it and trying to actually get my message out there. So sometimes I'm usually, let's say, I'm a photo girl. So diving from photos to not doing
I noticed
videos.
earlier.
So going from simple girl that always takes photos, those girls that do take photos, you all know what I'm talking about. All you do is you have like 600 photos of
Mhm,
yourself,
mhm.
and then diving from that to even taking out videos. Sometimes I get nervous. It's just me and my phone, and my hands is trembling. I cannot get my words out. I normally in those moments I do a lot of deep breathing exercises to try to calm my mind and my anxiety so I can go ahead and take. So sometimes the videos that I posted I had to do maybe like 6 takes to get that right.
Don't worry about it. Even after over a decade of being in front of the camera all the time, I still have difficulties
You
many
serious?
times. Yeah, trust me. Trust me. It
That
takes
was,
some
by the
getting
way, that
used to.
was not competent. Just letting you know that Sarah,
No,
you're
it
never gonna get
happens.
out of that.
In other words, it happens to the best of us. So don't even worry yourself about that. Um, okay, so you've you embarked in 2019. So
Mhm.
how long would you say your business has been in full operation?
I got fully certified in 2023.
In 2023. So
Yes.
you're 2 years in, and yeah, you've been thriving right now.
Um,
Thriving relatively, I would say.
Reality, yes, yes. In terms of somebody that's something that's new to it and getting myself out there, I am content with my progress.
So as someone at, let's say, my age, I may not speak for me personally, but was quite a few years older
Hmm.
than you. What do you say to someone like me who may be skeptical though of someone much younger than
Right,
I am teaching me about basically about life, how to master areas in my
right,
life when
right,
I may say I may have experienced so much more than that person in my life already.
right. No, that in terms of experience, I don't doubt that, and I don't doubt the skeptic. But what I would say to you is, we all struggle from overthinking, from self confidence. That happens from a tender age. I have even coached teens who already struggle with self confidence. So what I would say to you, really, age when it comes to the mindset, there is no limits on your mind as to when things actually start to begin, and also when you can actually change it. So that's what I would say.
All right. I want to shout out one of our viewers here on the Facebook Live, a Black Star, and he has a question for you. He asks, what has the acceptance level been? I think we answered that question, but you can answer again in case you didn't miss it. What has the acceptance level been since you are basically new?
It has been somewhat difficult. Because when you do everything online, you need a lot of exposure, and trying to get exposure has been a difficult one, whether it be interviews, sit downs, try to speak to people in the ministry, whatnot. Basically, trying to get seen has been the most difficult part.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then just in terms, going back to the question about the ages, the age groups, what you've seen that you've been able to assist so far within your journey?
When I started, it was on to like the young adults, but I have branched it up to millennials, so that's persons up to the age of like 47.
Hey. Just let me correct you. Folks. Millennials, I don't consider millennials. We're still part of for 47. That's part of Gen X.
That's out of Gen
There's
X.
a micro generation called the Zennials that's 77 to 82 or 83 thereabout. We're a
Uh,
special bunch. I'll speak about it another day. This is a youth oriented show. We'll speak about
but
it.
I can say I have had clients as young as 16,
Mm.
and I have had clients as old as 50,
And
49,
your
50.
success rate, you would say,
It's 100%.
oh
I
my
haven't had
God, oh my
anybody.
God, oh my God.
I haven't had
Uh,
anybody not content or have not achieved what it is that they needed.
all right. Well, Sarah, the time went by so quickly. It's now 3:31. I'd like to thank you for being with us. But if there's anything that you'd like to add in closing, regarding your work, you can give us your handles.
Yes, so you could definitely follow me on Instagram. That's Sarah Chronicles underscore. That's my most active social page. My DMs are always open. You could get me on WhatsApp 1758 732 1600. And I offer free consultations.
Hey, y'all
That's the
heard that?
best part. So
Go
if
out
you have
and
a
consult him this
question, if
weekend.
you're a skeptic, and you figure you need to try out, let me just test out, have a conversation with her to see if she know what she's saying. Feel free to book a consultation. We can handle that. I'm ready.
All
All
right.
right.
Thank you very much for being able to take it here on short notice. And that said, I'd like to thank you, our viewers and listeners. You could tune into RCI next week for Wednesday. Of course, I'll be here for that. And next Thursday for Youth Unplugged, brought to you by the Youth Economy Agency. My guest this today should have been the acting director of youth in the Ministry of Youth Development and Sports, who was also, while she not be maybe not be classified as a young person or youth in the general sense of it, or the official sense of it. In her youth days, she was very active in many youth-oriented activities, including the National Youth Council. So I'm hoping that Mrs. Lavon, Food and Daisy will be here with us next week to speak about the Ministry of Youth Development and Sports initiative as they relate to the development of our our young people. Sorry. Until then, this is Miguel Fevrier saying goodbye and have a great afternoon. See you next week.
But imagine sometimes